To all the men who are playing video games and conquering dragons and having a hell of a time doing that, you might think about what you're doing is that the reason you find that so engaging when it's abstract is because it's the pattern for what should engage you in your life. And if you're not engaged in your life, it's because you haven't picked a dragon of sufficient merit. I mean that in the least literal sense, right? In some ways, because it's a narrative trope, but I also mean it in the most real sense, is that if you haven't found meaning in your life, it's because you haven't taken on a big enough burden. That's a strange thing. It's a strange thing that that's true, but I think it's the closest to truth that we have.
You're going to find the meaning in your life by adopting maximal responsibility, right? That's going to be extremely difficult because you're so bloody useless. You can't even get your own house in order. If you do that nobly, there'll be something to you. And then when the storms come, you won't be blown over by the first 4-foot wave. And young men think, mean I could be something that wasn't blown over by the first 4-foot wave? That's inspiring. Maybe that's worth doing a little work towards. On the off chance it might be true. And the thing about it is true.
Take responsibility to make your life happen. Don't accept things just as they are. Don't follow the crowd. You've decided that you're not going to allow your circumstances to define you. You've decided that you're not going to allow the events, the things, the people, life, determine who you become. You decided that you're not going to go through life being a whiner, being a complainer, that you're going to take responsibility for what it is that you want to create.
You always want to blame other people. You want to hold other people to the fire, but you're not holding yourself to the fire. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, why are you only giving 50%? What's wrong with you? We tired of this 60% you. We tired of this crying you, this complaining you. We tired of this version. Greatness is in you. You are here. You here. Leave your doggone mark. You here. Do something. So whatever you got to do, you do it. And there are those of you, you were this close, but you compromised. You let your feelings get the best of you. It's time for you to cut average. It's time for you to cut good so you can finally get to great. There are no excuses. You cannot cheat success. You got to work for it. You got to breathe it. You got to sleep it. You got to eat it. You got to put forth 120%. I didn't get here making excuses. And I stopped being a victim. I stopped saying I've got to wait for good things to happen to me. And I said, I'm going to grind. I'm going to fight. I'm going to work. I'm going to learn. I'm going to do everything in my power. Every single day, I'm going to do everything in my power to become a victor and not a victim. No more playing after today. I need you to take control over every single area. And we're going to do it one day at a time. And you're going to get control. And then someday going to be your day.
There are so many ways to be brave in this world. Sometimes bravery involves laying down your life for something bigger than yourself or for someone else. Sometimes it involves giving up everything you have ever known, or everyone you have ever loved for the sake of something greater. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it is nothing more than gritting your teeth through pain in the work of every day, the slow walk towards a better life. That is the sort of bravery I must have now. The more the body suffers, the more the spirit flowers.
The habits of successful organizations. Keystone habits. Some habits have the power to start a chain reaction, changing other habits as they move through an organization. Some habits, in other words, matter more than others in remaking businesses and lives. These are keystone habits, and they can influence how people work, eat, play, live, spend, and communicate. Keystone habits start a process that, over time, transforms everything. Keystone habits say that success doesn't depend on getting every single thing right, but instead relies on identifying a few key priorities and fashioning them into powerful levels. The habits that matter the most are the ones that, when they start to shift, dislodge and remake other patterns. Families who habitually eat dinner together seem to raise children with better homework skills, higher grades, greater emotional skills, and more confidence. Detecting keystone habits means searching out certain characteristics. Keystone habits offer what is known within academic literature as small wins. They help other habits to flourish by creating new structures, and they establish cultures where change becomes contagious. Small wins are part of how keystone habits create widespread changes. Small wins are a steady application of a small advantage. Once a small win has been accomplished, forces are set in motion that favors another small win. Small wins fuel transformative changes by leveraging tiny advantages into patterns that convince people that bigger achievements are within reach. Small wins. Small wins do not combine in a neat, linear, serial form, with each step being a demonstrable step closer to some predetermined goal. More common is the circumstance where small wins are scattered like miniature experiments that test implicit theories about resistance and opportunity and uncover both resources and barriers that were invisible before the situation was stirred up. Keystone habits encourage change by creating structures that help other habits to flourish. Keystone habits transform us by creating cultures that make clear the values that, in the heat of a difficult decision or a moment of uncertainty, we might otherwise forget. The habit of success. When willpower becomes automatic. Willpower is the single most important keystone habit for individual success. Willpower isn't just a skill. It is a muscle, and it gets tired as it works harder. So there is less power left over for other things. If you want to do something that requires willpower, like going for a run after work, you have to conserve your willpower muscle during the day. If you use it up too early on tedious tasks like writing emails or filling out boring forms, all the strength will be gone by the time you get home. The willpower experiment. 29 people were signed up for a 4-month money management program. The participants were to deny themselves luxuries and asked to keep detailed logs of everything they bought. People's finances improved as they progressed through the program. But there were also side effects. They smoked fewer cigarettes, drank less booze and coffee, ate less junk food, and were more productive at work. As people strengthened their willpower muscles in one part of their lives, that strength spilled over into what they ate or how hard they worked. Once willpower became stronger, it touched everything. This is why signing up kids for piano lessons or sports are so important. It has nothing to do with creating a good musician or a football star. When you learn to force yourself to practice for an hour or run 15 laps, you start building self-regulatory strength. How willpower becomes a habit. By choosing a certain behavior ahead of time and then following that routine when an inflection point arrives. When people are asked to do something that takes self-control, if they think they are doing it for personal reasons, if they feel like it's a choice or something they enjoy because it helps someone else, it's much less taxing. If they feel like they have no autonomy, if they're just following orders, their willpower muscles get tired much faster.